So, as I was saying, Muditā is one of the four Brahmavihāras. It's the one that I practiced the most at. When I first heard this, when I heard a teacher, I think it was Eugene Cash talking at Spirit Rock. I was in a group, a study group for maybe 2.5 years. And we had a bunch of retreats, and Eugene was talking about Muditā practice. I remember having a really negative reaction because he was talking about the phrases. I don't think he used the same phrase that I do. I'm happy, you're happy, or something similar to that. And I heard it, and I thought, oh, come on, just saying that I'm happy to myself, that's going to make me happy. And I had a lot of doubt about that. And then a light went on somewhere, and I just thought I would try it. I had actually practiced a little bit because I'd followed the teachings. I had already been at Spirit Rock for like 6 or 7 years at that point. And I did it. And I did it when it wasn't going well, and I did it when it was going well, and I did it when it was not really going well or not going badly. I kind of do the practice all the time. And it's not the only practice I do, but I do it almost every day. And it really works. Not the first time you do it, not the second time, maybe not the 10th time, but if you just stay with it, maybe just 5 minutes a day or 5 minutes a week to do the practice. See if you can connect with happiness. Because it's when we're more balanced and we can open not only to suffering but to happiness as well, we can be there for others, for humans and for non-human animals. And we can really connect mindfully and with an open heart to the suffering and to happiness, the happiness that's out there in the world. So we look for that so that we can heal ourselves. This is the point for me of the Muditā practice. So before I go any further, let me just see if there's any questions about Muditā or anything that I've said so far. Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, so the practice will be very simple. We're going to close our eyes, and what we're going to do is we're going to send Muditā to another person or animal you choose, and then to ourselves, not to forget ourselves. That's really important. So I invite you then to close your eyes to find, if you're used to meditating with your eyes open, and some Zen traditions do that, that's fine. I mean, whatever. But in my tradition, Theravada / Vipassana, we do with our eyes closed, less distraction. So whatever way you want. And of course, when you meditate, it's important to keep the back straight, but not rigid. So you can't really see, but you won't want to have your shoulders up like this if you could avoid that. You want to just relax, let your shoulders drop. Keep your back straight, and you're either sitting on a cushion or a bench. For years I've been using a bench, but I also use a chair when it's available. And then your head also sits on your shoulders in a natural way. So you're not pulling up like this. You're not slouching down like that. It's kind of like this. If you could see the top of my shoulders. And the neck and the head is as relaxed as possible. And then close the eyes gently. So we're just going to take 1 minute to relax any tension, any place where you feel stress in the body. It might be in the eyes, maybe in the jaw. I mentioned the back or neck. So just take a minute to notice that. Bring mindfulness to that tension or that stress. And then let's see if you can relax into that. If it's not possible, that's okay. Just take a moment to try to relax those stressful areas. It might be in the legs or the arms, anywhere. It can be useful to do this at the beginning of every meditation, but not necessary. So as I mentioned, Muditā practice is a practice of sympathetic joy. It can be a joyful practice, but it has to go its own way. It has to take its own path. And for some people, as soon as you sit down to do Muditā practice, happiness arises. For most of the rest of us, it takes a while to cultivate this. It's a powerful practice. It's not ignoring suffering, but it's just focusing on the bright, the light that's out there, the happiness that's out there. You know, in the world, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of animals right now, and there's a couple dogs being walking around my condo complex here. They look pretty darn happy to me. You focus on any sentient being that's happy. You pick. The phrase is very simple. You might have a visual image of the being, the sentient being that you picked, or it might just be a sense, a felt sense, whatever works for you. So holding that image or that feeling of the being, very simply, just repeat the phrase, I'm happy, you're happy. I'm happy, you're happy. So it's important at the beginning of this practice, when you first sit, do it, to find a happy being. Now, we all know people that are happy. They seem like they're happy lots of times. And we all know animals that are happy, not many farm animals. We know animals that are companion animals. Maybe our neighbor's companion animal. Maybe the birds. I live right near the Santa Leo Lagoon, just right in the backyard. There's hawks, other birds, squirrels jumping around, frolicking. Just pick one. But bring that animal or human. I'm happy, you're happy. I'm happy, you're happy. If you get lost in thought, you forget you're doing this practice. It happens all the time. Don't worry, no need to judge yourself. When you realize you've been lost in thought, simply return to the phrase, I'm happy, you're happy. It might be helpful to focus on the heart center. You don't have to keep the mindfulness there. Depends. Sometimes it's available, sometimes it's not. But try to keep the phrase going as best you can. I'm happy, you're happy. I'm happy, you're happy. If you don't feel connected to the phrase, that's okay. It happens a lot. But the more you do the practice, the more, let's say, the easier it is to connect to the phrase. If you don't feel connected to the phrase, you might just take a moment to check in on or to focus on what you can see and what you can feel is the happiness of that other being. Maybe an animal frolicking around, or liking to have its ears scratched, or just being free out there in the wild. Maybe a friend of yours, maybe a romantic relationship that started recently. They're now healthy. They were not healthy before. They just got a new job that they're excited about. Just take a moment to focus on that if you need to. Just keep the phrase going. I'm happy, you're happy. I'm happy, you're happy. And now I want to switch and invite all of us to do the Muditā practice for ourselves. For some, actually I'd say for many of us, this can be the most difficult. It's not so in a lot of Asian countries, so that's where most of the Buddhists in the world live, 98.5%, somewhere short of 1 billion, probably pretty close to 1 billion. And other cultures, this self-judgment is not as strong, it seems to me, and others have reported. It doesn't seem to be as strong as it is in our culture. So the Buddha said we could search, this is paraphrasing, we could search the entire universe and find no one more deserving of our love and compassion than ourselves. Just to keep this in mind. So it's good to be happy. And it's good to focus on the happiness. So the phrase then for ourselves is, I'm happy, I'm happy. I'm happy, I'm happy. There are many other phrases. Sharon Salzberg's book, Loving Kindness, it's been out there for maybe 25 years. You get a copy, get a used copy if you want, and there's an entire chapter on Muditā. And she has other examples of phrases that have been used throughout the ages. So you can check that out. Some of them are, may my happiness never wane, or may my happiness increase. May your happiness increase. So you can change phrases. I just suggest if this is the first time, just stick with my phrase, and you're welcome to tweak it if you get into the practice. I'm happy, I'm happy. If you're not feeling happy now, or you're feeling sad, or you're feeling angry, or you're feeling judgmental, just not happy, it might be helpful, not required, but it might be helpful just to remember a time when you're happy. Hope you don't have to go back too far. Just the time. Something good happened. Doesn't have to be life-changing. Just something nice. You said a kind word to somebody and you felt good about it. Someone said a kind word to you. Maybe it was generosity. Somebody helped you when you needed help. Maybe your favorite sports team just won the championship, the NBA. I'm happy, I'm happy. Dalai Lama has said that if all humans in the world, approximately 7 billion, I'm told, if we did this practice for everyone in the world, all, as he put it, all human beings in the world, we would feel happy 7 billion times. The extraordinary power of this. I'm happy, I'm happy.